And if you were to use deli meat, it's usually around 3 to 4 slices, depending on how thick the slice is. I chose popcorn, but oftentimes people will put down and say, okay, I want to go with some chips. Notice that it's not an entire bag of chips here. It's just a simple serving size that can fit onto a plate right here. You'll realize that by having a smaller serving size of the chips, you're going to still get the same type of satiated feeling that you would have if you were to eat the entire bag of chips, but you're not going to have the stomach bothering you a couple hours later. So you'll realize that you'll fill those different voids that you want by having something that's crunchy too. Also, I put another fruit on here. Once again, somebody that's going to have a little less calories throughout the day can simply cut this in half and have half the calories. This is approximately about 100 calories, this fruit. They can do that also to the sandwich. But you'll be amazed, by even having half of it, you're still going to feel fine. You know, for me, if I need 3,000 calories, I'm going to need to have that entire hamburger. If I were to cut it in half, I'm probably going to need a little bit more. So that always, once again, goes back towards our goals. Okay, let's look here at a dinner meal. Okay, and in our dinner meal, we look at, I give you 2 different plates. This plate right here is looking at chicken, which, just like the hamburger, is 3 ounces, which is about a deck of cards. I don't know if you can see that. A serving size of corn right here is approximately half a cup of corn. A lot of people say, more vegetables is better. Put on the entire plate of corn and all these different forms of vegetables. And I would have to disagree with that. I would look at it and say, once again, what is the goal? Where is the energy coming from? And how is it balanced? And not going too much on one thing and not the other. So everything wants to be portions. And we look over here at a mashed potato and we look at a half a cup of mashed potatoes. And a lot of people say, oh, wow, I've been having like 3 or 4 of those and the gravy's all over the place. Where's the gravy? And so on and so forth. And on that note, any things like that, like gravy or like dressing that we would put into a salad, for example, it's best recommended to put it on the side and use it sparingly on top of the products. That's a nice little tip for portion sizes. Most importantly, control. Because you're in control at the restaurant to simply say to the waitress or waiter, may I have dressing onto the side? I strongly think that they're going to say no problem at all. And at that point, you can put it on there on your own, and it's going to give you a great sense of control. Oftentimes, though, we don't have that meat, vegetable, and a potato type of a meal. We have a pasta meal. When we look over here at a pasta dish, I put down, I believe here, half a cup of pasta. Okay, broccoli, nice vegetable to actually have. On this broccoli, we're looking at a half a cup. And obviously 1 slice of bread. And I didn't have Italian bread, but it's just a normal slice of bread. Once again, I can put this all onto one plate. If you were to use sauce on your pastas, many people do, once again, you would just use it sparingly. It wouldn't have to be dripping down the plate. As you can take a look real quick though, you can see each one of these, whether it to be breakfast, lunch, or dinner meals, they can all fit on a small plate. Because this meal right here doesn't have much protein into it, has protein into it, but not a lot, I accompanied it with a 8-ounce serving of milk. And that way it's a little bit more balanced for us, gives us that better sense of satiety that we don't need to have a lot, let's say, dessert afterward, or not just dessert, but a lot of dessert. Another snack that you can put in between a lunch to dinner, or better yet, after dinner rather, is something like cheese and crackers. Notice I don't have 20 crackers on here and cheese all over the place. Notice also I put down some strawberries and I don't have 50 strawberries down here and sugar all over it at the same time. It's a small portion size, and believe it or not, you're going to feel really nice by having something healthy like this. The cheese giving you protein as well as fat, crackers and the strawberries giving you carbohydrates. It's going to make you feel better. Now, let's look at the big picture for a moment. Setting up our day accordingly and looking at the times that you realistically can eat. Many people say to me, well, Brian, you try being in my shoes and working in my day. I eat at different times, sometimes I can't eat at all. To trial and error, I truly believe that you're going to figure out the winning formula of when you're going to be able to eat and where you're going to be able to eat, because that makes a huge impact. How much time you're going to be able to eat as well. But instead of kind of just going by the day and figuring and seeing how things are going, in the morning or the night before, take a moment and look at that. Evaluate what is the winning formula that you need to set yourself up for that day or the following day, so you don't run into all these obstacles and have to kind of just be in a reaction mode. I'd rather have you be proactive and have everything designed for you so it's easier and you can be more efficient. And that again is going to give you a great sense of knowledge and control on being able to do that, and your body will definitely unite with you. The simple tips that a lot of people said to me, and don't go over too much of all those different things, they do work. You know, putting the dressing on the side and using it sparingly. Bringing a doggy bag home after the restaurant instead of having a huge plate. We talked about in the very beginning that these plates aren't gigantic, as you can see here. When you go out to a restaurant, I remember one time going with my mother and I said, you know, when we pick out a food, I said, "Now, what would we realistically have at home?" She goes, "Oh, you know, you like chicken and a vegetable." And I said, "Well, when we order that plate, how much do you think we would actually have?" And we kind of were talking about it. When the plate came, we both looked at it and said, "Whoa, that's like 3 days." I said, "Well, why don't we just have what we said we were going to have, instead of the plate controlling us?" And that's interesting right there. A lot of people choose to have a lot of water to cut the cravings of the food. We find that does work, but more so we find actually having lower calorie salads and more fiber in the day gives you that satiated feeling where you can control your food intake too, instead of just drinking tons of water. But obviously water is a huge and key ingredient to helping us out. The idea though isn't to how can I have water in the salads and more fiber to stop me having all the different foods. Once again, we will reflect on what we started with, and that is setting up our day for success. And if we take a moment to write it down into a journal on how we want our meals to be planned out, you're going to find that you won't have to be thinking anymore like, oh my, what if, and how can I? You're going to notice that you're going to have that great sense of control, and through trial and error once again, and believe it or not, it can only simply take a week, you're going to put together that winning formula for making better and smarter food choices and portioning them in the right amounts too. And once again, you'll realize that you don't need a large ice cream. Believe it or not, you can get away with having a kitty ice cream, and you're going to get that same feeling too. I hope you got some different tips and useful tips that you can apply, most importantly, into your days, and what better time than now to do it. Obviously you have some goals, or you wouldn't be still watching this video right now. And so I would go ahead and get a piece of paper out and design what your next meal is. That's a great start, and I wish you the best of luck with that. Thank you very much.